I don't know if I'm going to post this or what channel I'd put it on. I feel maybe like I should make it though. My friend Tom, who's been staying with me for the last year, may have an opportunity to go take care of someone and live inside a building, which seems very important to him. Um, this guy has done everything for me for a year. We've taken care of each other. You know, I take him where he needs to go if he'll ask me. Like, he doesn't make a lot of medical appointments because he doesn't want to bother me. Like, dude, it's nothing. You fucking, I mean, buying me cigarettes and helping me out with the car and just looking after things for me when I can't be there. It's endlessly appreciated. And, I take care of some basic things that I know he needs. He's too generous with the little money that he makes, uncomfortably so sometimes, but, it's very helpful. And I try to do what I can for the guy, and he is one of the better friends I've ever had. It's going to be a sad day seeing him go, but, I can barely get around. He's got significant health issues that really aren't being addressed, and living in the desert without, electricity all the time and running water can be a hardship. I'm led to understand. I'm not the same as I was a few years ago. Some of you haven't seen me in 10 years. Some of you obviously don't know me, but there's been a couple of before and afters in the last couple decades anyway. The COVID bullshit and burning down the world and trapping us in our homes is a major dividing point in our culture. It's not just me. And then a few years prior to that, something happened that is a before and after for me because I went into it functional, like, sort of. I mean, I was working a corporate gig. I was good at it. I was more than just, a doorman organizing a couple of people to run a room of 100 people. I was in a position of some authority. So I would have considered myself functional at that time. Something happened about the middle of the last decade that unfortunately opened my eyes. In a way, I wish that I'd had that experience at 2021. I'm not sure it would have sunk in without a lifetime of other experience to add it to really make me see, okay, you've been taught this lesson over and over and over and over and over, and finally it got into your fucking fat head. I don't think I'm a better person for knowing these things. Probably a less functional person for having a better understanding of how the world works. Because I don't feel like I want to be subject to illusions. I know, clinically, like, human touch is good for us. We're mammals. We crave that. We need that. I know that it enhances your endorphins. I don't let people touch me. I don't want to be touched. I don't want that illusion of closeness. I don't want those chemicals. See, that's part of the dysfunction. I don't know. I do know that basically those chemicals are lies, and I don't want to be lied to. I don't want the false comfort of being touched by people, friends. And I understand that that's rough on some other people. So Tom had said, we have some differing opinions on the state of humanity. I'm not trying to convince him to come to my side because, if you can live in this world better than I do mentally, please do. Embrace whatever illusions you like. I can't. And when I understand there's an illusion, I can't play it anymore. He said I need to come to terms with humanity. I said I did. I got as far away from it as I was able to do. I understand that I'm the problem in a lot of cases. So how do I fix a me problem? I take me out of the fucking equation. To the best of my ability. I mean, I could sit in the desert or forest or on a mountaintop or wherever forever and not ever feel like I'm missing out on something just because I'm not talking to people. I talk to people on the internet, talk to people on the phone, try to minimize talking to people in person generally. It's not supposed to be a slight on people that I care about because there are a lot of people that I care about. Just got my fill of people, and I got topped off by the friendly summer of love a couple years back. My tolerance for people is that bare minimum that it's ever been in my life. Still get nightmares of people stealing my home, being robbed by people that I'd known for decades in some cases. The safest way for me to avoid situations like that is just take my hands off the wheel. I'm never going to be able to do some things that I really enjoyed ever again. I'm never going to be comfortable going into another nightclub and hanging out and dancing. I'm not ever going to experience candy flipping in a crowd of people that I legitimately mostly cared about, and in some cases adored. I'm never going to feel those feelings again. Those are nice feelings, and they're probably healthy feelings, and probably functional people should do their best to seek out those feelings. So this is not a one-size-fits-all solution. I don't know. It feels like more of a remedy than a solution anyway. I just got to get through a couple more decades, and then I will fade into the oblivion from whence we all come. Ah, their troubles are over. This desert, these skies, wildlife keep me at a baseline of functionality. I'm happy. I feel like I made a decision to be here. Tom asked why Arizona. I'm like, Arizona's warm. It's as warm as as it gets in this country, pretty much. I could look at a place like Alaska and see the appeal, and I could definitely understand wanting to live there, and maybe doing something solitary out in the mountains. Potentially, I understand it. My issue isn't that it gets cold so much as it never gets warm. You've got a couple months in the summer where you're, you know, hardly going to see 80 degrees, and in a lot of the state, less than that. And in the 80s is about my favorite temperature for existing. In this part of the country, you get about 6 months of that in a normal year. I'm 40s at night, 80s in the daytime. I am golden. I can live outside all day. I've got a good solid base tan. When Tom's gone, I'm going to have it all over my body again. I tend to keep my butt covered when he's around. Wearing, as my friend Turner used to say, wearing pants for the convenience of others. It's the only reason I wear anything out here ever. I do a lot less laundry that way, too. And I'm good to, 50 degrees during the day in that condition normally. First winter I was here, only saw one day where it got down to freezing during the day. And then, of course, this last winter started in November and went through like fucking early May. And I can't say any weather's here is unusual. I mean, all you hear from anybody anymore is, yeah, the weather used to be consistent, but then after 2010, it's just been totally random. It certainly was that way in Chicago. There was the winter we had uh, trees showing leaves in February because it was 70 degrees. There was the winter where I saw an Arctic owl in my yard in Chicago, which was crazy. Weather does not seem to be very consistent anymore, so I can't even predict what this winter is going to be. Farmer's Almanac's got it right the last couple of years. I don't understand why. They don't have any scientific basis that I'm aware of, but it's interesting. One of the few people willing to make long-term predictions about things that can't be predicted, and still, I think, have a better than base accuracy, in my experience. If they're right, it shouldn't be that bad this winter. I do like living outside. Some of the things about Arizona and living out like this, I'm not ever going to not be dirty. My body can be clean. I keep my skin clean, and I don't stink. But I'm always going to have dust on my pants. My shoes are always going to be brown no matter what. It's like Saudi Arabia. You're not polishing your boots here. Even washing the car, if I go back out there and it's not wet, just normal dry, I'm still completely coated with dirt. Clean out the interior weekly, probably. I've been ordering stovepipe. I got to get the stove installed in that house. I'm not thrilled with the idea of living in the house because I can't see everywhere like I do here. You get used to windows. I love seeing everything, especially when you got a big open area around you. You can see anybody who's coming from miles. Why would you want to give that up? When I lived in the house, different Tom, neighbor Tom, once snuck up on me by accident because he pulled up in front of the house and I was inside it 6 feet away. Did not know he was there. And did not like that. And you got one or two local people of interest that will come down on your property, and I want to know when they're there. If I had any ambition at all, I'd work like a little more and get some other things that would make my life a little easier, like having a decent camera system or, bigger solar array. But I think even if I made that house look nice and functional, I'd still be living in the truck. I want Tom to do whatever is best for Tom. It'll be harder on me not having him around, but I think he'll have more opportunities for chit chat and basic friend bullshit that I'm just not good at anymore. Me being a sort of a central person in our scene for a long time back in the day was heavily dependent initially on alcohol making me functional, lowering my innate barriers to people. And I was 10, 14, even up into the Army. The intrigues, the things that people do to each other, the mama jokes, all of that shit, I was oblivious to all of it. I didn't care about any of it. So I didn't participate in any of it ever. And that you create your own kind of outcast situation. But I was just, at some point, I become aware, yes, I do know all of these pre-memes. I understood what was going on around me a lot more than I thought I did without even paying attention to it, just because it was always going on. then when I stopped drinking, you know, even when I stopped drinking heavily, 15, 16 years ago or more, because I was in a position of a little bit of authority at the clubs and bars, it was, more comfortable for me to function. Uh, but then by the time I got to uh, work with Dave at Late Bar, I rarely have a beer. I was disengaged again. I'm naturally disengaged with the cultures that are going on around me. I've never been that interested, even if they're interesting. Too many things are interesting. Any one of those things could be focused on, like the basement under Cabin in the Woods, which if you haven't seen that, drop what you're doing and go watch that now, because it's the definitive horror movie, and I've never watched another one ever since. Unless you count Megan, which is awesome. A little chit chat from Holbrook, Arizona. Brought to you by Black Rifle. This is my current addiction. Kind of pricey, not many calories, and it has largely replaced candy for the time being. So I appreciate that. Feel free to tell me all the different ways that I'm wrong in the comments.